It's like a pizza crunch without the batter. It's like the wood juice without the water. You'll never get the knickers I found. What a fucking chance. Premeditated batter. Premeditated batter. I'm here now, and here you, peeps and creeps. What's happening? Are we good? It's been a while since me and you had a moment. It's been a moment since we had a moment. But no, the guest episodes have been back, and they've been coming thick and fast. And some conversations I've been having, I'm sure if you've been keeping up to date with the channel, you'll agree. Some great chats, man. Some great people. Had Chris McPherson, Sean Toll, Jimmy Two Guns. Really interesting characters with really interesting stories. And you'll notice that now the conversation's a lot more organic, because now I'm pursuing my heart. I'm pursuing, right, who do I actually want to talk to? Because I've probably said it before, I've probably said it a million times, but I'll say it again. When you start a podcast, you always fall into that trap of, right, who can I get on? Who'll do the views? And you aim for people to come on your podcast to please an audience. You think, right, people will like him or her or whoever they are. And for me, what I've realised is, see, the best conversations I have, it's with the people that I want to speak to. And as much as I love my audience, I love the fact he's tune in, he's subscribe, he's get the views up. I don't really care what you think in a loving way. You know what I mean? Because the fact that I'm not worrying about whether you're going to hate a guest or whatever else, don't get me wrong, if I was in a position where I think my audience will hate this guest, I'd probably get them on anyway, because controversy sells. But that's the thing, it's like, since I've started kind of following my heart and just going like, alright, never mind who might do reviews. Know what I mean? Look who's somebody I'm going to get on, it's going to be a good conversation. See, since I've done that, the past few podcasts have done good views, great views, in comparison to what it's done previously, because as much as I don't try and get hung up on view numbers and that kind of thing, man, it's a great thing to kind of get an organic conversation that you actually enjoy. It doesn't feel like an effort, because it's an effort to edit this, produce it. I do it all myself, and before I used to be like, I need a producer and that kind of thing. See, to be honest, man, I've realised nobody will give this the level of care, affection, level of effort. Nobody's going to do a better job than I am. And I'm not saying that there's people that aren't better editors. Fucking hell, man, spit it out. I'm not saying there's no people that are better editors than me. There's fucking millions of them. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to my sandwich, I'm going to be the one that's eating that sandwich. It's coming out of my fridge, the contents of that sandwich. So I'm going to make myself the best possible sandwich that I can muster. Somebody else is making it, they're not going to be eating it. The contents, if they came for their fridge, they didn't need to go to Asda with a hard-earned money and buy all the ingredients and then bring it up. They're not hungry, they're not giving a fuck. And I'm not saying that they didn't, any producer or that I worked with doesn't give a fuck, but to the degree of the care and affection that I can give this, nobody can. I can put in the hours, I can sit up all night and edit. And I can understand for other people, it's like, this isn't their passion project. They never built this up through nothing. I have. And at this point as well, I'm starting to realise, I'm like, right. I don't realise how many people actually watch this podcast. Because as much as get a couple of thousand subscribers, do a couple of thousand views and that, you never really see the people on our side of that. When I look at everything I do, my podcast, this podcast, is probably the thing I connect with people the most. Probably because I am my full, unadulterated self. Just, I'm as authentic as I can be, and it's not that I'm trying to make an effort, I'm just fucking talking, being myself. I'm just existing in front of you. That's the thing. Authenticity really shines through. And that way people like yourself that are watching this, you get to know me on a personal level. I wish I could say that was the same for me, but I don't meet yous until I meet yous. But it's great meeting yous. If you ever see me in the street, you watch my podcast, come up and fucking say what's happening. I'll chat away to you. depending if I'm in a rush. I'll always say alright, I'll never rub fucking Blackie off because there's times I've been out and about, like kind of bare with a sore head, can't be arsed, just want to get into like Asda, maybe I'm going to work, I want to get in and out like a robbery. And somebody will stop me. It happens in Asda all the time. Fucking Asda's the pure number one place. The day I bring out a book, I'm going to do the book signing in Asda because I'll make a few quid. But in Asda, I'm walking about, and times I've been in a fucking kind of grumpy mood, and somebody will come up to me like, I watch your stuff, whether it's the podcast, whatever it is, and it perks me up a wee bit. As much as I try and distance myself with that external validation, it's always nice when somebody appreciates your stuff. I had another guy, so I done a podcast with Scott Forbes. That was a follow-up to the Luke Mitchell case. You might have seen my podcast with Scott Forbes or my documentary with Scott Forbes. If you haven't, on this channel, the documentary is called A Long Walk to Justice. The podcast is with Scott Forbes. Just fucking type it in, you cunts. I done a follow-up Q&A with Scott Forbes, so that will be released next weekend. But as I was leaving, I was getting him back down to the subway. A guy shouted me, and he was like, mate, just what I'd say, I've been watching your fitness videos, like the videos I post in my story when I'm exercising. He's like, mate, I took some inspiration for that. I've lost, like, I don't know if it was a stone or 2.5 stone. It lost a fair bit of weight. And he's like, I just wanted to say, look, thank you to a degree. And I was like, wow, man. Because see, I get gym sponsorships, so a lot of the time I'm not the kind of guy to film my workouts, but obviously I'm promoting the gym that I'm training at. But you don't realise who's watching your stuff. You don't realise who sees your stuff when they need to see it. You don't realise the people you're inspiring. Just be the fucking little things. The simple things. You don't realise who's actually watching. And the likes of this podcast, I don't realise who's actually watching me sit in my spare room on my one-seater, whatever you call it, red leather fucking, you know what I mean, Chainsaw Massacre arse cheek couch. It's a fucking, let's start calling it that. The Patter Throne. It's a lot more catchy. I don't take into account people are watching. And see, the thing is, the way I'm able to talk fluidly and just go off in tangents, and it's because I'm here myself. Nobody's in this house. See, I've fucking always had conversations with myself at a young age. I was younger, my ma used to be a bit overprotective, and I've talked about this a great deal. I say a great deal, I've not pure talk. It's a part of my life, so I'm going to mention it. But a lot of times I'd spend a lot of time myself, and I started talking to myself just to give myself a bit of company. And it's just a thing I do. I do it when I'm in the shops, do it everywhere I go, I just do it. It's just a thing. It's like, some people are pure bewildered by it, and I find that funny. Because to me, it just seemed like a normal thing to do. But essentially, I'm just doing this with a camera in front of me. You know what I mean? I don't write down what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll come in with like a wee pearl of wisdom. Sometimes I'll just turn the camera on and go for it. Look, the likes of, I've started making a bit of money off my reels on social media, which is a good thing. It's good to actually get paid for your content. Don't get me wrong, you don't make it a great deal, but getting money for something you love, it's a fantastic feeling. So I made a couple £100 and I bought myself like a wee monitor that you perch on top of your camera. Because the camera I've got, it's got a Lumix GH5. The window, see, when you're recording, it's about that fucking size. So this monitor's probably about that size, you perch it on top. So now I'm looking at myself, it's like a wee mini PSP. And it just helps you kind of get fucking, I don't even know why I bought it. I think it helps you get a better footage or some shit like that. It's like you can set, it's hard to explain. Okay, but I've got it now, and I've got it in front of me, so I'm kind of watching myself on like a wee mini screen. It's like a PSP that size. So it's like almost, well, I know it's the size of a fucking an iPhone 11 Plus or something like that. It's like a kind of chunky iPhone. So I feel like I'm kind of watching myself and on the iPhone, but I'm able to kind of see, right, how it looks. And that's the thing, see, when you're in front, I'm the kind of guy, right, I've got all this camera equipment. I can, by rights, go out and film a fucking film if I want to. But I want to be the guy in front of the camera. I realised that lately, right, I always loved acting, always loved drama in school. I never really put a lot of effort into drama in school because I was dead self-conscious, cared what people thought of me. fucking lot of shite. But I've realised, right, I'm 6'3". I'm louder than a gangbang. Whoever created me, whatever created me, designed me to be seen and heard. It's a matter of fact, right? So, I was designed to be in front of a camera. I was designed to be in front of a crowd. And see, to be honest, if anybody knows me in any personal capacity, or if you meet me, I'm a lot more comfortable in front of a camera or in front of a crowd than I'm in an individual one-to-one engagement. I say in a crowd setting where I'm the focus of attention. See, if it's a group, people talking, I can be involved in conversation, but I can also kind of be withdrawn. It's like people use these terms, introvert, extrovert. I don't like to use fucking labels, right? Sure, this ADHD, autism, all that, right? Don't get me wrong. There's some people you could, let's say, class as having these kind of, I don't know, we use disorder, obviously ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, but I don't really want to use the term disorder to fucking class autism, but let's see, we just give them these labels. And see, for me, man, I don't really subscribe to the full label thing. Like, if you'd have known me when I was a child, you would have labelled me on the spectrum somewhere. Even now, ADHD, people try to diagnose me all the time. A few years ago, I tried to go and get diagnosed with ADHD. I was smoking a powder of weed at the time. Obviously, my concentration was away after shit. This was before I was doing all this kind of stuff. And the first guy couldn't really diagnose it. He couldn't really figure it out. Because it's a large spectrum. And the second guy, he's like, listen, you're borderline. But he's like, what are you looking to get at this kind of thing? Are you looking for medication or what? And I was kind of like, fuck knows, mate. Your guess is as good as mine. And he kind of warned me after the medication, and I'm glad he did. I really appreciate he done that. Because now I look at it, I'm like you hear a lot of people that go, oh, that's my ADHD. It's like people limit themselves. I believe these labels are just limitations that we as human beings apply to ourselves. It's like, nowadays, it's like, and I think it's like a Western thing. You always want to diagnose and prescribe. Diagnose, prescribe. It's like, fuck off. It's like, see the way I hyper-focus into things, right? Like, see, when I'm editing a podcast, the world ceases to exist. If I'm editing a music video, if I'm in the flow state, see if I catch something, like if I'm making some music, and I get something and I see it's working, I just manage to get a wee idea and I manage to get it into first gear. I'm driving that motor away up to fifth gear and I don't give a fuck if the police are trying to stop me, the fucking fire brigade or fucking aliens are trying to abduct me. I'm driving that car. If you get in the way, you're getting mown down. And people will notice that about me. Like, if you see me in work, if I'm editing something, if I'm working something, people try and talk to me and I'll be just kind of, I'll not be rude, but I'll answer back enough to be polite, but I'll not answer back enough to continue a conversation, because I'm like, right, back to what I'm doing. So see, for that, to me, that is a super ability. That is a superhuman ability that I can hyper-focus, and it's like, I can obsess about things. Many people get distracted, and I do get distracted, but once I'm focused, it's like laser beam precision. And that's a thing that has benefited me right to this point right now. I can be disciplined where I can be consistent. I can be constantly, like as you say, sitting down in front of a camera every week. Don't get me wrong, there's some weeks I maybe don't do it. You'll have one or two periods where there's been a lull, there's been maybe a month or a couple of weeks or whatever. But I always find myself back to it. I don't drift too far away. You know what I mean? I always get back to what I was doing. For me, they're all positives. So why would the fuck would I want to give myself a fucking label that's not going to benefit me? What is a label going to benefit me? Or I'm not speaking for everybody, because some people, if they get labelled right, I've got attention deficit, so I struggle to concentrate and it does affect me. Maybe you can go down the route, right? Is there medication? Is there therapy involved? I'll leave that to the experts. I'll speak for myself in this instance, because people go, it's just people are too quick to fucking fling these labels, or you get ADHD, you know. It's like, what? but because I can focus and stuff, because I multitask. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can be quite scattered, I can be quite forgetful at times. Sometimes I can feel a bit overwhelmed. It's like, gives a shit, we're all human. I'm fucking perfect. You know what I'm talking about? And with all the multitude of things that I do, it's more than natural that I am going to maybe be a bit more focused on one thing than the other. I'll maybe forget something. That happens. I am one man. One handsome man at that, but a man I am nonetheless. But I see that as a positive. It's like before, that's why I think I was such a heavy drug user, because that stimulated the brain for me. See, when I was on it, that was like all I lived for was the weekend. Monday to Friday, it was like weekend. I would honestly do a countdown. Like times where it would hit midnight on the Thursday, and I'd be like, yes, it's Friday, messaging cunts and all that. Cunts like, I'm in my bed, mate. Like, what, it's Friday? Like, 2 minutes into Friday, what the fuck off? And then, that's why I would go 3-4 days, because I couldn't handle that build up to one day and it being done. I was like, nah. I couldn't fathom the weekend being finished. So the week end would never end. But now that I've got a positive outlet for my energy, see this, it's like what I put into this, it gives me back so much more. There's no come down. You know what I mean? There's no fucking tick bills. There's no that depression, that block, no shit. There's nothing. I used to sit in like living rooms for like 3, 4, even 5 days at a time, and this is where the curtain shut. One square room between going to there and the toilet, and maybe the odd bevy shop run, which I would do my best to avoid. I hated doing the bevy shop run because I hated facing reality, facing the world. I remember being in a house where this guy, he didn't have blinds, he didn't have curtains, so his windows were just bare. So see when you're sitting that creeping, crawling, horrible way, and there's light, natural daylight coming in, I was like a vampire. You ever been like that? You're like, I get that light. I remember we got a drill and got some bed sheets and drilled into his wall and hung the bed sheets for above his window so we could block out the light. I remember being in another house. It was my pals. It was a house in Paisley, and it was like this. It was like a 4-bedroom house, but the living room was massive. It was like up and down 2 stairs. It was like on top of a dentist in Paisley Town Centre. So it was like this mad fucking. I think they've turned it into like student flats, but it was like basically a lot of rooms. And one of the rooms, it was like the smallest room in the house, and we would always end up in there like 5 years. The door shut, the tunes on. There was this wee window, see, like a loft skylight window, and the thing, it wasn't much bigger than that. Right, it's my own Liam Gallagher. It wasn't much bigger than that. I stuffed a pillow, a cushion in that window to block out the only wee fucking beam of light getting through. And see, when I think it, like 3-4 days, I think of like 3-4 days in my life now. Like, what can I achieve? What can I get done? What productivity can I enhance? And I every day I get up, I set myself goals, targets, and at the end of the day, as I think I remember Joe Rogan saying it, earn your comfort. See, that way when you've been busy all day, you've got a lot done, and you can sit down at the end of the day and go, I'm just going to chill and no feel guilty for it. When you earn it, it's like when you go to the gym 5 days a week and you take the weekend off, you have a cheat meal because you've earned it. When I look at 3 days, 4 days sitting in a house, talking absolute shite, like 3 days with the same people, what? It's like, no, I've no drank in like a year and a half. See, when I think of that, think of like just sitting for 3 days, like achieving nothing, fucking ingesting any drug eating your horn on, spend money you've no got, sitting with people you probably wouldn't even sit with, half the time talking absolute caca, man. When I think of that, I'm like, I can't even, it's a weird thing, I can't comprehend it. It's a mad thing, and I'm grateful for that feeling. I'm grateful that I actually feel like that I've came so far away from that way I used to be, that the thought of it seems alien. Seems alien, man. I forget people still drink. I go by pubs because I think I'm off it, everyone else is getting off it, but people are still smack bang on it. But you look at the drugs that are going about now, it's like fucking back in my day, gear was gear. Fucking back in your dad's day, gear was gear, and back in his dad's, you know what I mean? It's like fucking, it's whatever the shit that's getting mixed in it, but that's the thing I say to people, see they want to get into recovery. Because recovery is a big, massive thing for the life I live now. I owe it to it. And that's the thing as well. I always need to maintain my recovery because that wee voice in your head can always pull you back into that old life. You hear about people 30 year, fucking 20 year clean, sober, and they suddenly think they can just have a drink and be alright, drink themselves to death. Fucking very common. So the threat of that's always there. And you hear about people in recovery talking about how they were in recovery and then they had a drink or they had they took something and it just fucking, their life just derailed. That puts a fear in me, man. My life's really good the way I've got it now. But I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for where I'm at, sitting in this couch in my spare room. See, that's what you need. Gratitude, man. Gratitude is the attitude. Sometimes you need to just be grateful. And that's, I'm starting to feel that I'm finding gratitude as a default setting. And don't get me wrong, I get up some days and I'm fucking starting. Like this past week, I finished up night shift and my body clock's been fucked. Like I've been training for this fight. And the 31st of March, gonna smash Jasper's fucking Chevy Contin. But I think it was like Monday morning, I finished night shift. I got up like Monday afternoon, was going to go to the gym, and I swear to God, I struggled to make it from my bed to the couch. I just like collapsed and didn't get off the couch. I was fucked. Body just felt drained. Next day I got up. I went to sleep at like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and that way I was like, I fucking seen the clock every hour. I'm one of these people, I struggle to sleep. Fucking every hour I see the clock. I can't remember the last time I actually slept through, but once in a blue moon. Is it just me? So I get up, went to the gym, then after that, that's past few days, it's been the exact same every hour, then waking up at like 5. That, last night I got a wee surge of energy. I sometimes get that lull a couple of days in. Both last night, surge of creativity, recorded a couple of videos, got some things done. And today I had quite a productive day. Was up early, done a wee circuit in the living room. I went to a meeting, then I went to Asda, get paid. And it was just one of the days when I started off. I was up for 5. At 9 o'clock, I was like, for that 4 hours, I was just on the go. And then it got to like 9, I was like, I need to sit fucking down, just stop for a second. That way my head was just fucking going fucking mental. I was like, what's going on here? And I was like, I haven't fucking stopped. So I sat down, had my yogurt bowl, my berries, my banana, a bit of peanut butter, had my Starbucks coffee, and I was like, only cunt that drinks a Starbucks coffee to fucking relax. You know what I'm talking about? I like a wee coffee, but actually, we talk about drugs. A bit of caffeine, aye. Caffeine's sound. The new, and it's fucking, I drank about 4 coffees yesterday and I was fucking paranoid at my nut. Thought I was going to get hit by a motor, not mental. Caffeine can fuck you up. It's a psychoactive drug, just like anything else. But what have I got planned coming up? Next week I'm going down to London. I'm going down to do Terry Stone's podcast, Criminal Connections. So keep your eyes out on that. I'm really buzzing about that one. I actually used to love Rise of the Foot Soldier. One of my favourite films, especially in the jail, because the scene where Carlton Leach, the guy that plays Carlton Leach, pumps the bird. I was in the jail and didn't have any pornography, but I had Rise of the Foot Soldier, and I used to have that scene fucking on repeat, ripping the head off it. So I can't wait to tell him that story. A wee do it in London should be good. London in January. Last time I was in London, it was summer and it was roasting, but we'll see how it is in January. Probably Baltic. But I'll be good. Next week I've got Scott Forbes in the podcast. I've got a couple of good podcasts lined up. No solidified in the calendar as of yet, but that way it's like I'm going from one guest to another. It's back that good way where you've got momentum. Like you speak to one guest, then another one's popping up. It's like that way. Anybody that does podcasts will probably Probably feel the same. But if you've noticed as well, I get the logo redesigned. Obviously, it needed a bit of a glow up, man. So I'm going to get that. Going to get that put in my Scotland flag. And I am also going to get t-shirts made up. So if you're looking for a t-shirt with the premeditated patter, the new premeditated patter logo, then hit me up in the comments. But 31st of March, I'm going to slay the tutor that is Jasper. But I'll give Kaz Milligan his due. Now, as much as we slaughter each other online and that, the guy's played a blinder. See, if I'd have put on this event, I wouldn't have done the press conferences and that. And now, looking back, looking at how it's turned out, I would definitely do it now. But at the time, I was like, fuck's sake, he's doing press conferences. He's really gone all out. But that way, the buzz that's been built off it, and just the buzz actually being a part of it is I'm actually buzzing. I'm glad I'm a part of it. And that way, I've had a boxing match before. It was a white collar fight. But it was shite. It was like just, you train for it. I like the training. I actually like training for a fight. It gives you something to focus on, gives you something to motivate yourself. But it was all just a fucking fight with a cunt, isn't it? With this, it's got a story. There's build up to it. There's people stop me in the street when you fight. Every cunt's fucking asking me about it. Tickets sold out in an hour. I was at the gym when the tickets went on sale. Time I get home for the gym, they'd sold out. Just obviously, I don't want to take all the credit, but I'm taking all the credit. I'm telling you. But no, I think it'll be a great night. I'm really, really buzzing for it, man. And I think we've got another open workout plan. We've got another press conference, got a weigh-in. So the fucking Patter King will be on top form. But I'm really looking forward to it, man. But in the meantime, that is probably all for me. I've serenaded your ears for long enough today. Did I ramble the same shite? Let me know in the comments. If you want me to talk about a particular subject, give some inspiration. Say something. Say fucking anything. Go fucking do it, I dare you. Use an excuse. But anyway, I'm going to bounce and let you go. Enjoy your Sunday, people. Like, subscribe, and don't get wide. Catches.